How does long division work when you're left with a remainder? When you've finished calculating the ones place in a long division problem, but are left with a remainder, you add a decimal point to the dividend and one or more zeros to the right of the decimal point to continue using the method until you're left with no remainder. 92 divided by 5 is an example of a long division problem with a remainder. Let's see how you solve this. Start by dividing 5 into 9. 5 goes into 9 one time. Place the 1 above the horizontal line like this. Then multiply 1 by 5 and place the answer, 5, here, below the 9. Now subtract 5 from 9 and write 4 here. Pull a copy of 2 down next to the 4 and divide 42 by 5. 5 times 8, which is 40, is the closest to 42 you can get without going over. So, you must place an 8 above the horizontal line, like this. Then multiply 8 by 5 and place 40 here, below the 42. Now subtract 40 from 42 and write 2 here. 2 is the remainder. Now you're in the following situation. You have a remainder of 2, but no more digits to pull down. That means that your answer is not a whole number this time. You can choose to stop here and write the answer like this: 18 remainder 2. Or you can continue the long division method and end up with a decimal as your answer. Let's go on and see what happens. Recall that you can always add a decimal point and one or more zeros after a whole number without changing the number's value. So let's do that. You have to be careful and remember to also add a decimal point to the number above the line like this. Now you can pull down a copy of the 0 and continue. How many times does 5 go into 20? 4 times 5 is 20, which means that 20 divided by 5 is 4. Place 4 above the horizontal line like this. Then multiply 4 by 5 and place the 20 here below the other 20. Now subtract 20 from 20 and write 0 here. At this point, there is no more remainder. That means that you are finished. The answer to your division problem is 18.4. In other words, you have found that 92 divided by 5 equals 18.4. In this case, the dividend was greater than the divisor. But what if the dividend is smaller than the divisor, like here? Can you still use the long division method? The answer is yes. Let's take a closer look at this division problem. 7 divided by 15. So, where do you start? Well, first you'll have to rewrite your division problem in this form. 7 divided by 15. How many times does 15 go into 7? Well, the answer to that is 0. There is no whole number that you can multiply 15 by to get 7. As 0 is part of the answer to your division problem, you place it here, above the horizontal line, in the ones place. With the digit 0 in the correct position, you multiply 15 by 0, which is 0, and place the answer below the 7, here. Now you subtract 0 from 7 and write 7 here, because 7 minus 0 is 7. Now you have a remainder of 7, but no number to pull down because 7 is a one-digit number. Just like before, you can always add a decimal point and one or more zeros after a whole number without changing its value. So let's do that. You do have to be careful and remember to also add a decimal point to the number above the line, like this. Now you can pull down a copy of the 0 and continue the method. 70 divided by 15. How many times does 15 go into 70? Well, 4 times 15 is 60, and 5 times 15 is 75. 75 is too large, so 4 is the right number. Place the 4 here, in the tenths place. With 4 in the correct position, you multiply 4 by 15, which is 60, and place the 60 right here, below the 70 that's already there. Now you subtract 60 from 70 and write 10 here, because 70 minus 60 is 10. Now you can add another 0 to 7.0 without changing the value. Pull a copy of the 0 down here next to 10, and you end up with 100. 100 divided by 15. How many times does 15 go into 100? 6 times 15 is 90, and 7 times 15 is 105. 105 is too large, so 6 is the right choice. Place a 6 here in the hundredths place. With 6 in the correct position, you multiply it by 15, which is 90, and place 90 right here, below 100. Now you subtract 90 from 100 and write 10 here, because 100 minus 90 is 10. As long as the remainder does not equal 0, you can continue this process by adding another 0 to pull down for as long as you want to. But we suggest you stop after 2 or 3 decimals, unless you were told different. The answer to your division problem, 7 divided by 15, is about equal to 0.4666 because you decided to stop. If you had continued, you would notice that there would be an endless string of 6s. Make sure you pay attention to the approximation. In this case, the answer could be written as 0.467 because 0.4666 is about equal to 0.467 when you round up. When you've finished calculating the ones place in a long division problem but are left with a remainder, you add a decimal point to the dividend and 1 or more zeros to the right of the decimal point to continue using the method.